in this section, we're going to be discussing the utility providers supplying you with energy efficient installations and gas boiler installations. For instance, British Gas on the boiler side. They also do solar panels, and companies like EDF and Swaylec and Octopus Energy providing customers with solar panel installations and heat pump installations. First of all, the difference between those companies doing your work. I'll be honest with you, from quotes I've seen from my customers where they've had a quote from one of the big six, is what stands out for me is how cheap they are. Okay, so obviously they are so cheap, but they've got to make money somewhere else. Okay, so the initial cost can be 50% lower than what a small company will be, but the question is why. So why it is so much cheaper is because they are in control of the overall output of your new system. So especially with solar panels, I've seen installations coming in at £5,000 to £8,000 for an energy company, where our company, the installation was coming in at £15,000. So the difference in these two quotations is the payback and who's in control of the electricity that you create moving forward. So on the quotes that we've seen from the energy companies, their overall payback for the return on their investment, so the return on their investment from their installation was £10,000 over 30 years. Well, like I've talked about earlier on in this podcast, is that the overall investment and the return on the investment they get from us doing the installation was £55,000. So yes, their installation was 50% cheaper on the initial cost, but their overall return on the investment was 80% less. When you're choosing between the big companies to a smaller independent company like us, please take all the information on board, especially when you're looking at the return on your investment, because at the end of the day, doing an installation like this, you need all the facts and figures. And just because something might be cheaper on the front end doesn't mean it's going to be beneficial for you at the back end of your installation, especially over a long time, like a 30-year performance guarantee that you get off solar panels. How it's worked out is obviously the amount of panels that you have on your roof creates electricity that can be put into a battery, and also it can be exported back into the grid. Okay, so what happens, what I've seen from the energy company's quote was that they was in control of that installation, even though you've paid £7.5 to even though you've paid that initial installation cost, yes, and it's your roof and it's your system, they were still in control. So in their terms and conditions, it means that they can actually choose to, if they've got a high demand in the area, they can actually use the electricity that you've harnessed. They'll pay you, say, 7p per kilowatt for it, and then they'll put it back in the grid and they'll give it to the next door neighbour and they'll charge them 52p for it, or whatever the numbers are, the process is the same. When these companies are doing your installation, they are in control of your installation. But when you go to a local or more independent company that does the installation, then you have the control in your hands. So you can decide when to export back in the grid, or if you want to charge your battery first, so then when you want to use your electricity in peak hours, you can do it that way. You have full control, and the return on your investment is greater because you have that control. Another thing I've been trying to do for my customers is to find out all the information of ways that they can go into the renewable is to go into renewables for their home, is to find out ways where they can get grants or even get 0% interest finance through their banks and their mortgage providers, so that it'll help with the upfront costs of going down the renewable route. So what I've actually found is, and I'm in conversation with a couple of banks, is that there's grants out there that are not common knowledge to the consumer or to us who want to go down the renewable route, where you can, the government has provided the banks with grants for homeowners, where you can potentially take interest-free loans with your building society or your bank, but it's only for increasing your EPC rating on your home. So it has to be green energy, whether that is solar panel and battery installation, whether that's a heat pump, or whether that's a new A-rated boiler. And it's actually lowering your carbon footprint as the consumer and helping the UK reduce the carbon dioxide, and helping the UK reduce its emissions. So the information that I found out is that banks like Barclays Bank, NatWest, and places like Nationwide, the Co-op, these all have schemes in place, not just for potentially people who are on benefits and the eco grants that those people can get, but actually homeowners who can subsidize the initial installation costs by things that the government are implementing to help the UK go greener. So that's another benefit of using us at Hale Heating. We are trying to deliver on everything that we can to help the initial costs for installations to be more affordable, to help get a better